is the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Warner Anderson as Matthew Swain, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, and Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie.
Within his lonely beach cottage, Elliot Carson is making an important discovery. On his table, someone has placed a package. Its crude wrapping vividly recalls the tragedy that sent Elliot to prison. Inside is a diary, the intimate secrets of the murdered woman who was Elliot's wife.
Tomorrow, Elliot comes home. I wonder if he thinks everything will be just the same. Home is the hero, and the town put on quite a show. The local Lotharios, who were so glad he was out of the way, were shaking his hand today, telling him how happy they were to see him back. The gossips have been added. Elliot thinks there have been other men. Well, what did he expect? 4 years is a long time. Now Elliot feels it's one man. We had a row about it just before he left for New York. I was almost tempted to tell him who it was, just to see the look on his face. Leslie just phoned. He thinks Catherine's found out about us and insists on coming here tonight to talk things out. Oh, we'll talk things out all right. But if he thinks he's going to break this off, he is due for a shock. I've landed the biggest fish in Peyton Place. Why should I let him off the hook?
Leslie Harrington.
Brandy, Robert?
No, thank you, not just now.
Then I take it this isn't a social call.
I need to talk to you, Les.
Sit down.
Did Norman tell you that he'd come to see me?
No, he didn't. I've noticed he hasn't been himself lately, but I wasn't aware that he was sick.
He didn't come about himself. It has to do with you. About the way you're acting in regard to Catherine's will.
I'm not acting, Robert. I'm reacting. That codicil threatens everything I've ever worked for.
Nevertheless, your son is deeply disturbed. As any son would be in the same circumstances. Now, it's natural that Norman would oppose you in this.
Norman's opposed me in everything ever since he was born. That's another thing I can thank Catherine for.
Don't you see what you are doing to your family? To yourself. The price is too high, Les. You can't pay it even if you win.
I assure you, I intend to.
By questioning Catherine's mental stability?
Well, it seems the opposition is growing. She had no right to leave her interest in the mill to Morton, Peyton. That was unfair. You know all I've done for Catherine.
I was a doctor, Les. I'll be called upon to testify. I must tell the truth.
Isn't your truth colored by your desire to protect the memory of a lifelong friend?
No, it isn't.
Well, I believe it is. And it would be very unfortunate if you were to testify on Catherine's behalf.
Unfortunate? For whom, Les?
For you. I sincerely hope you won't put me in the position of having to question your professional abilities.
Which means?
You and I both know that your incorrect diagnosis was largely responsible for Catherine's death.
So, that's the way it is.
It has to be. I have too much at stake.
It's true that I failed Catherine as a doctor. That was my mistake. There's no changing that. But I refuse to compound one error by committing another.
I don't follow you.
To declare Catherine mentally incompetent would be wrong morally, as well as medically. I will not testify to that effect, regardless of the consequences. Night.
Oh, good morning, Miss Choate.
Oh, I would have thought you'd have finished those by now, Miss Anderson.
Well, I'm almost through.
Good. Go on.
Thank you.
You worked third floor west this morning, didn't you?
That's right.
According to the schedule, the patient in 301 was to have an alcohol rub at 10 a.m. I wonder why it wasn't given.
Well, I went to the room, but the patient said she'd rather rest.
Oh, so you decided to ignore instructions.
No, I didn't ignore instructions, Miss Choate. She just said you didn't want to be bothered. Do you want me to give the rub now?
No, it's been taken care of. Frankly, I'm surprised that you don't understand hospital routine. After all, you were once a patient here yourself.
Yes, I was.
Well, I suppose it's one thing to be catered to, and quite another to be of service yourself. Tell me, Miss Anderson, did you enjoy the service when you were here?
I was in no condition to enjoy much of anything, Miss Choate. You were here. I'm sure you realize that.
Of course. I assisted Dr. Rossi that night. I remember feeling quite sorry for you when you lost the baby. But then at that time, I assumed you were married.
When you found out that I wasn't?
I try not to make moral judgments about my patients, Miss Anderson.
I'm no longer your patient, Miss Choate.
That's true. And in all honesty, I must confess the moral character of my nurse's aides does concern me. Very much indeed. But then you're here only on a trial basis. Don't forget that.
Why give me any chance at all if you're convinced I'm of such low moral character?
Miss Anderson, you were highly recommended by Dr. Rossi. I'm sure he feels there's been a change in your outlook on life, and I'm certainly willing to help anyone I can. It's simply that I must insist that you don't shrug your duties, as you did this morning. That's all, Miss Anderson.
What? In here, Norm.
Going skiing?
The world ever gave you that idea?
I'm observing.
I thought I'd take Allison up to Mount Griswold.
You're taking Allison?
Yeah, I'm going to pick her up at the bookstore.
I'll see you.
Hey, listen, why don't you come along?
Well,
Come on, huh?
come on or come along.
You're coming on right now.
Thanks for the offer.
Hey. Why don't you take that chip off your shoulder?
Okay. Have a ball.
6 inches of new powder.
I'll break a leg.
Thanks.
Don't you care, Rod? Huh? Don't you care at all?
The will, huh?
The will.
Listen, what do you expect me to do?
Talk to him.
Him?
Yes, him.
You mean Dad?
I mean him. You're his son.
I'm his son.
Well, aren't you?
Well, aren't you? Listen, he did work like a dog. He did build that business up. If he wants to fight for what he's got coming to him, he's got every right in the world to do it.
Has he got the right to call Mother unbalanced?
Why did she cut him off?
Why did she?
I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Listen, I have passed judgments before. I'm not going to do it again on either of them. And I'm also not going to run off to any lawyer or doctor either. Oh, Norm, you just can't keep doing that.
Well, maybe you'd better start, Golden Boy.
Golden Boy? You got a pretty strange picture of me. Norm, you're all fogged up. Oh, come on. You're a pretty good skier.
Yeah, but I'm tired of going downhill.
That's corny. That's real cornball.
You're right, Rod. But I'm not going to come along.
All right, John. We'll continue.
You're making a big mistake, Connie. You should sell at least 25 copies of that new McGregor.
I'll still take 4, John.
Didn't you read the advances? The New York critics call it the most definitive work in ornithology since Audubon.
And people in Peyton Place watch the birds. They don't buy books about them.
For McGregor. Oh, say, how about that collection of short stories? That should be a hot item.
Right. I'll take 5.
5?
5. Look, you come in here with a first-rate novel and I'll stock up. Collections don't sell, you know that, John.
You know something, Allison? You have a very smart mother.
Yes, Mr. Pearson, she is very smart, but she's also very tricky. I came to the square to buy a new pair of gloves, and look at me. I end up wrapping packages.
That's because you're an expert.
You know what would make this trip a lot more pleasant for me, Connie?
Now, don't start that McGregor order again.
Oh, no, you malign me. No, I'm talking about dinner with me tonight.
Tonight? I'm afraid I can't tonight, John.
You sure?
Maybe next trip, huh?
You know she's been saying that to me for 7 years now? Well, you can't blame a man for trying. See you next month, Connie.
Bye, John.
Goodbye, Allison.
Goodbye, Mr. Pearson. All done.
Oh, that's beautiful, Allison.
Thank you. Mother, you know Rodney and I won't be back for dinner, don't you?
Yes, you told me that. Why?
I was wondering why you didn't say yes to Mr. Pearson.
Oh, well,
You aren't really doing anything tonight, are you?
No, not really.
Well, you like Mr. Pearson. It might be fun having dinner with him.
Are you worried about your poor old mother's social life?
I suppose I am. Oh, that'll be Rodney.
Well, he certainly isn't shy, is he?
I'll be right out. Goodbye.
Goodbye, dear. And Allison, be careful.
Oh, I haven't twisted my ankle in ages. That is what you meant, isn't it?